Welcome to the 4th annual Redwood Peace Poetry and Art Celebration. I'm Nezzie Wade, and I have the good fortune and honor to kick off the event today. The Veterans for Peace is the primary group under the umbrella that this event happens, and the Education and Outreach Project Committee is the committee that has organized this year after year. And VFP members believe that peacemaking and hope for a peaceful world begin in our communities, our homes, and our schools. This year we had 54 poems and 28 pieces of art turned in. Something very important to members of Veterans for Peace and this community in particular is a small tribute to June Thompson, who is an extraordinary human being and a peace activist who showed great passion for the underdog or the downtrodden. She has lived here in this community, and she passed away this week, May 16th, in her home in Bayside, just across the road. June was 87, and I think it's fairly safe to say that all of those years were lived actively engaged as a learner, a teacher, an author, a curator of the arts, a quintessential volunteer, and an activist, particularly in the anti-nuclear movement. That was a passion for her. June was an amazing and principled woman, who not only conceived but also believed and then achieved much of what she felt needed to be done to address social justice issues, particularly war and the use of nuclear weapons, even if it meant going to jail, which she did on a number of occasions. We're grateful for her presence and participation in our lives and community and her lifelong commitment to enlighten us and work for a more peaceful and just world. Our love and thanks to you, dear June, and we offer our condolences to June's family and especially her beloved husband and best friend, Bill Thompson. He's a deeply valued and longstanding integral member of the VFP Chapter 56, part of the family. Our hearts go out to you, Bill, and we love you too. I want to introduce the co-MCs for today. We have 2 local high school students who expressed an interest in helping us today, and we were more than happy to have them come and participate. So I would like to introduce Denzel Jonas, and you can come on up. Denzel is from McKinleyville High School. He's an 11th grader. And also Joseph Lawrence from Arcata High School.
I'm Joey Lawrence. I'm a sophomore at Arcata High School, and I'm honored to be a part of this event about peace. And well, first off, I'd like to share, I think, a lot about people who are in conflict around the world. As you may know, Syria has a gnarly civil war going on right now. Prayers and thoughts going out to them. I dream of a world without borders. We're all human beings. We're all part of Earth. We're all people. We should all respect each other and treat each other like people. And that's what I believe. So Denzel and I will be picking names out of this basket here. And when we call your name, please come on up and read your poem.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Denzel Jonas. I'm an exchange student from South Africa. Okay, sorry.
You got it, buddy.
I'm an exchange student from South Africa. I'm one of 6 South Africans on the fully sponsored program, and I'm with AFS, which is an organization to build world peace. So this is such an honor for me to be part of this event, knowing that I'm here, from South Africa on this program to build a community around the world. Thank you.
Yeah, buddy. All right. Remember that there is an award for Best Presentation and runner-up awards. So to be eligible, you need to read your poem in front of the audience. Thank you. I wish you all good luck. And this may take a while depending on how many poets we have. I don't think that's much of a problem. So feel free to applaud after each poet. All right. Thank you very much.
So now we would call up the presenters to come and present their poems out of the lottery slip.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, and we would love for the poets to come up and just introduce themselves, the names of the poems and stuff. Okay, thank you.
All right. Do you want to begin?
Yes, sure.
All right.
Ooh.
Pretty exciting.
Yep.
All right. Eula Varley, North Coast Preparatory and Performing Arts Academy. Please step up.
Hi, my name is Eula Varley. I wrote a poem called Pieces. Bruises bloom like dark splotches of ink, their infliction migrating over the map of a body, navigating the sharp ridges of prominent bones, sinking into sweet tissue and creeping up the slope of an extended neck, then sliding down the curve of a spine, painting flesh the color of fresh, fragrant violets, and creating a camouflage for the night, to conceal flailing limbs from a shower of sharp silver rain. Bodies shield bodies, molecules stretch out, straining to capture any stray metallic shards, leaning forward on fearful digits to embrace the fate of another, only to be engulfed by the night that stains their skin. Thank you.
All right. All right, your turn, buddy.
Okay, Sarah Keo Davis from Arcata High School.
Hi, my name is Sarah Davis, and I'm a sophomore at Arcata High. Can you guys hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and the name of my poem is Do No Evil. 3 wise monkeys look at this world in dismay, refusing to believe what they already know. Mizaru, who covers his eyes in sorrow, refuses to see the evil. Kikazaru cowers as he shakily blocks his ears from the static of evil. Iwazuru has sewn his mouth shut, for he speaks no evil. But they can feel the loss of their brother, Shiazaru, the doer of no evil. I cross my arms as I take in my surroundings, thinking of the evil consuming my world. 3 wise monkeys look at me, questioning if their brother has not written from this world after all. She who crosses our arm, is she the doer of no evil? I cannot guard my eyes, barricade my ears, or seal my mouth from the evil polluting my life, but I can think no evil, be no evil, or do no evil. The 3 wise monkeys scurry elsewhere. They know now that with one individual thinker, doer, or being of no evil, a spark will ignite, and evil will be no more.
Up next, we have Susanna McFarland. Come on, girl, it's your turn. All right.
My name is Susanna McFarland, and I wrote Saving Me. Listening, shouting out, pausing to listen again. The reply, if there is one, swallowed by the smoke. My voice, if there is one, swallowed by the smoke. A cry for help thrown desperately into the void. A cry for need, echoing through the gray. A cry to end this world of greed. Silence tremors, vibrations through the swirling smog. Tendrils embrace, wrap around the pain, insulating one human from the other's need. A small spot of brightness pushing through the black, fighting, arms swinging through the smoke. The cry was heard, the answer came. A small hand reaching out, fighting to reach through the smoke. Anger, lies, regret, and ignorance, pushing back to hold the help at bay. A child's innocence, eyes undimmed by the knowledge of pain, unable to see the smoking remains of humanity. The child who doesn't see the pain answers a call she doesn't understand, reaching out a helping hand, saving one lost soul, no reason, no knowledge, but hearing a voice and answering, unknowingly turning a life around. It's the smile that helps you even unknowing of your hurt. It's the hands that hold you unjudging of your pain. It's the spark of humanity and caring that moves one life to another, giving the will to try for one more day. Thank you.
That was beautiful. Thank you, Susanna. All right. Up next, Erin Casper. Please take the podium.
Hi, I'm Erin Casper, and I'm from North Coast Preparatory and Performing Arts Academy. I'm a junior, and my poem is called Softness and Rest. There is a box under my bed with a laundry list of maybes, this tin labeled if, when, according to. I bury this small cookie can in the soft base hollow of a tree with a whispered promise, I'll be back. Many years pass, and the world remains just the same, unyielding as the tin. The small childhood box becomes rusty and cold. Old age grows ever nearer as I return to find that base hollow grown over, and the words on the tin change to acceptance. Thank you.
Up next, we have Ellen Thompson.
Hi, my name is Ellen
Thompson, and my poem is titled Drug Facts, Ingredients and Uses. Drug facts, ingredients and uses. 1,000 smiles of agony, 1,000 needles of rain, 1,000 outcries in harmony, 1,000 doubts in refrain, 1,000 kisses to phantoms, 1,000 wishes to smolder, 1,000 burns for ultimatums, 1,000 inevitables for a soldier. Antidote or poison, what will it become? In the end, it will be prescribed freedom. Thank you.
These are all really powerful poems. All right. Casey Lynn. All right.
Hi, I'm Casey Lynn, and I am a senior at Arcata High, and I will be reading The Most Natural Thing. Last night, I walked into my father's study. On the wall, he had hung a map, his map, on which he had outlined all the countries in thick black pen. Some he had scribbled out with red paint that smelled like gasoline. Others sparkled with glitter glue, messy and crude. It spread out from its origins like a plague, the gray-dried blue glue polluting the paper oceans with the little metallic flakes. One nation was cut out entirely, haphazard gashes torn into borders, sad stained wood paneling showing through the dark hole. I stared at it for ages, a lifetime, as the black clock on the wall ticked by the moments, just trying to understand who could do such a thing to the world. And I wondered if other grown-ups had maps like this hidden away. I wondered if some dad had my father's glitter country ripped to expose the bare wall beneath. Looking at it, I felt a sadness claw into my belly as it moved my eyes over the macrame landscape. The clock ticked away in my ears. Tick, tick, tick. With every tick, I felt my sadness turn to anger inside, and soon I was boiling like an apocalyptic sea, fist clenched, eyes bright with flame. I tore down that map with the force of a god angered, and I was about to crumple it up and throw it away when my anger, so hot and righteous, transformed into something more, something above everything else. And instead of destruction, I decided to build. With a new resolution, I brought in a canvas that stretched from wall to wall, corner to corner. I taped it up around the edges, and I used my fingers to paint hills and forests, deserts and oceans. I painted the world over again, but instead of using knives and gold to honor and disgrace, I gave each country a color of their own, each as brilliant as the one next to it. Rich greens, deep blues, vibrant oranges and smooth purples, reds, pinks, magentas, and turquoise. And before I knew it, they were bleeding together. Borders faded into rainbow swirls and starbursts greater than could be made with a master's paintbrush. As a gasp couldn't help but escape my lips when I stood back and took it in. But there was more to do. I ran and got my yarn, and I got to work, weaving it around the new map in a fever. I made sure there was not one place in the world that was not connected to all the others. East to west, north to south, and everywhere in between. And when I was done, it made a web so beautiful and complete that I couldn't help but get this feeling of completeness, as if a long-lost puzzle piece had been lost years ago, had finally been found and returned to the picture. The feeling, it was primal, instinctive, the most natural thing I had ever known. Us, connected and living in harmony. That is the most natural thing.
Richard Gilchrist, right here, also a member of the Peace Poetry and Art Contest and Celebration Committee, is now going to present the Poetry Honors Awards. Richard, please join us up front.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you all for coming out. we are delighted that the poets that are here, and we wish we had all 54 or 56 of them. It's somewhat disappointing that they didn't show up, but at the other hand, we're delighted for those who did show up. And it takes a little courage to come forward and read your poems, and we are very, very proud of you. And please pass the word. We don't bite, and we enjoy every one of your poems. And it gives me a great deal of pleasure to award, we're going to just present the award winner who is here, and that is Casey Lynn, who now, Casey Lynn won second honors in our poetry contest. And she went through a hard judging because we have about 5 or 6 judges that went through all these poems. And she should feel really proud to be able to have this award. And I want to present this award to you with all our best wishes.
Consumption. We rip the jagged limbs like the leaves of an artichoke, consumed into the mindset of our desperation, torn to pieces, until all that was left was a raw, beating heart. We climbed into the back seat and roared away, each flying piece of gravel just a bullet in the past. So we came home with empty chests, full stomachs, and blood on our hands. We wiped away the tears from the eyes of our beloved, leaving invisible traces of screams that rested in the creases of our palms and only choked out of our own mouths when it was artichokes for dinner.
This is a good friend of mine, Caleb Morin. His is called March of the Orphans. On marched the lines of the orphan, broken by loss, moved without aim, cross field, through valley, and over mountain, the shadows of man's greatest flame, arrived from the wars as it's haunted, born of the passions thereof. Forth marched their lines, lost, but undaunted, by death, without guidance of love. Carried by grief and driven by rage, they marched with a strength, without rein, transcending strife, unhindered by age, to match their unbearable pain. Marched without end, through bullets and years, in sight of men, who saw they bought their dreams of past, who stood, blind with tears, but understood of what they wrought. Marched without purpose, or without cease, moved not to destroy, nor to save. Though carried not hope nor banner of peace, they walked, and dreams of peace they gave. On marched the lines of the orphan, driven with emotional power. A facet in the hearts of men, a torch in man's darkest hour. Good job, Caleb.
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag because it gives me permission to criticize it. This United States of America, and to the freedom for which it stands, freedom to choose who another person is allowed to love, freedom to impose your cookie-cutter ideals, your fireworks, your pride, your religion on this one nation. Under God, I choose not to say, but that does not mean I am stopping you. Indivisible, implying a lack of the individual, with liberty and justice for all, but some more than others.
Oh, another person I went to elementary school with. Claire Robinson, everyone. Take action. Peace should not be a noun, but a verb. Peace is not something accomplished by diplomats, but by the people. Peace is an understanding, not the symbol of a dove on a forgotten flag. Peace is not an idea. Peace is not a goal. Peace should be a verb, not a noun. Thank you.
So Casey Lynn won second honors, and you got to hear her poem by her, which was lucky for all of us. And the first place winner is Madison C. McLaughlin, And the name of the poem is Written in Clay. A tiny green bud is poking up through the soil. Gentle rain falls, darkening the earth, and silver droplets cling to the verdant leaves. Haruko crouches in the black loam, green hair tumbling over her shoulders. In the cities, people can have their hair whatever color they like. A quick twist of their genetics saves the trouble of having to dye it. Haruko's is special, though, because hers is green. In the cities, green is illegal. Watchers don't want people to remember the trees or grass or flowers or ferns or anything that lasts longer than a minute and doesn't generate revenue. Haruko has left the cities, tired of the bomber jets that scream overhead, taking with her only a worn brush and a small jar of paint. Words take up the walls of her cave, and she uses clay and charcoal to write now, too, because the paint is long gone. There are not enough resources for the city to expand, Haruko knows. Her records are safe. She is alone, but she continues to write in hopes that someone will read her work when she too is gone. And remember, and maybe not make the same mistakes.
Good afternoon. I'm Michael Thomas. I'm the managing artistic director at the North Coast Repertory Theater. And thank you. So I guess somebody thought that I could do this here today, and I can. And thank you very much for inviting me. I'm delighted to be here, to be part of this, and very honored actually. So thank you very much for asking me. I'm going to comment on, this is called the Presentation Award. So I narrowed the awards down to two people, and the first one I'm going to give out. Let's see, I guess we call this the Best Presentation Runner-Up. And this was for the poem Drug Facts, Ingredients and Uses by Ellen Thompson. And we have one more award, which is the best presentation, we will call it that. And this goes to The Most Natural Thing by Casey Lynn. And again, just a little more, I found Casey to be quite confident. You may recall, you may recall things like gestures. There was the east to west, the north to south. It indicates that Casey was into, again, how much did she want to deliver this message off the page and get out to us. And I thought she just did a wonderful job of the excitement, the passion behind it, to bring the work out to our ears and off the page. So congratulations, nicely done. Just one more thing. I really congratulate all 6 of our poets today, because it does take courage to get up here after you've written your work, in front of people. So congratulations again to everyone. Thank you.
Why do you think it's important to have a peace poetry contest?
To have one, I believe it's really good to just spread awareness of peace, put it out there, let people know what's going on. And, it's not just a thought or an idea, it's something that we can put into action. We could galvanize it. And, as Jimi Hendrix once wisely said, once the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world shall finally know peace.
I think it's very important to promote peace in general, because humans get caught up in their own lives and have to branch out and respect others and learn that war is not always the answer.
Kids exposed to thinking along lines of peace somewhat counteract the ambient noise of violence that's going on in the background all the time.
It's such a sweet way to get the younger people involved in thinking about peace and why it's important, and to hear their voices. Otherwise, we don't hear their voices, and they're the voices that are the important voices. Ours are just old people voices, but to hear the heart of the young people is really important. And to combine them with the effort for Veterans for Peace is beautiful.
Well, I personally think because if we don't reach the children, wars will continue. And youth is our future, and therefore we have to make them think about the consequences of war and alternatives to settling disputes without going to war. And I think having a peace poetry contest is a good way to start the thought process in younger people. And we have to really be very active in trying to get war to be stopped.